Hey guys, welcome back to another installation of Conscious. I'm your host, Miles Brown, and I'm here to you guys today about some of the things that's just been running through my mind. One of the main things that is running through my mind is a Bible verse that was the actual Bible verse of the day in the Bible app. And it says, "Be strong and brave. Don't be afraid of them. Don't be terrified because of them. The Lord your God will go with you. He will never leave you. He'll never desert you." And that brought up to in my life a very serious topic, because being strong and brave, don't be afraid of them, don't be terrified because of them. A lot of times, to be strong and brave in my life, since I'm an entrepreneur, I have to face people, and those people represent doors to either opportunities or to disappointments. And a lot of times when you knock on these doors, these people that have opportunities for you kind of put you through a lot to prove that you're worth whatever it is you're asking for. And it takes a certain level of courage to stand in front of those people and ask for what you deserve as an entrepreneur, because we all know what we deserve, but then we all have this mind where we think, okay, what am I worth in the marketplace and blah, 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 blah. But truthfully, it needs to be a price of what value am I adding and what do I believe I deserve. So once you move into the don't be afraid of them, and don't mind me, I'm a little under the weather. When we move into don't be afraid of them, the next thing that I think of is people who are at your place of employment that are always trying to undermine you, or even people that are there to keep you in check, like supervisors. And these people, like, you shouldn't be afraid of them. Like, if you're doing what God called you to do, if you're working your craft as you're working it, as if you were working to please God in everything you do at work, you're being strong and brave. God is saying, don't be afraid of them, because they'll fall by the wayside. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always a new supervisor. There's always a new checks and balances guy. There's always someone that's going to try to keep you in line. If you're walking the straight and narrow, those people won't be able to testify anything but good in your name. And you step into those doors, become more confident in asking for what you deserve. And that's just a part of being in God's kingdom. You know, like, we have treasures and riches that abound in the heavenly realm that manifest partly here on earth in like the physical form of like getting wealth. Like, if you're a wise person, 9 times out of 10, you're going to figure out, how do I become wealthy and how do I leave wealth to my children so that they won't have to go through what it is we went through. You know, every generation thinks that, you know, especially the wise ones from those generations. And I think when you look at that, you have to look at that as a benefit of what comes from being strong and brave in adversity and in anything that tries to deter you as a person from doing the right thing in that moment. Because when you're doing things like you're doing it for God, you look at everything and go, okay, how can I do this the right way? But God also calls us in the Bible to not get weary in good works, because doing the right thing in every instance gets tiring. And that's why God calls us to be strong and brave. Don't be afraid of them. Don't be terrified because of them. The Lord your God will go with you. His spirit will reside in you when you're doing good works. He will never leave you. He will never desert you. There have been times when I have to strip and wax a whole Staples department store, and the people that I had contracted to come out that night to help with the project, all of them had situations where everything fell through, and it was like left up to just me, one of my cousins, and a lot of times my wife. She would want to come and pitch in and help out, and we'd be out there cleaning, and somehow God will give us the strength to get everything done within the time frame. And like, we got abundantly blessed for staying diligent when a lot of people would have just called the job off. Like, you know what, everybody done called out, whatever. But because I wanted to do that job, I took that responsibility as important as if I made that decree to God, not to that person. Because if it was that person, then I probably wouldn't have when the people said they couldn't make it, oh, screw it. They couldn't make it. Oh, it doesn't matter. But because I take and have listened to the Bible and learned that when you do your craft, when you do what you make your money from, you have to do it as if you're doing it unto God. That's why it pays to love what you do. If you're doing something you don't love, you can't do it like you're doing it unto God. So a wise man would tell you, no matter how hard you work at something you don't like, you'll always be much better with something you do like, because the time spent doing it is actually feeding you to want to do it more. It gets easier over time, instead of, oh, I hate doing this and I'm hating it even more because it's taking me away from the things that I truly want to do with my life. All of us only have a certain amount of time here. That's why a wise person tries to gather the most in harvest time, when it's the time comes where you're supposed to be planting your seeds. The entrepreneur, man, he's out there planting the seeds. He's putting the stuff in the ground. He's putting together a marketing plan. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. Because when spring cleaning and contracts are up, guess what? Everybody out there in the open job market is looking to replace somebody at any given time. So if you've planted your seeds properly, you've put your name out there, you've consistently marketed to a certain area, one day it'll be a time to cash in. And when you do cash in, it's like you can't do nothing but drop on your knees and just thank God for the abundance. And a lot of people in life don't ever get a chance to experience reigning in abundance, reigning in it. And I'm just wanting to continue to encourage the people out there to every day, man. I know this stuff sounds hard. It sounds like, oh my God, it's so much work. It's diligent. It's this, it's that. But you need diligence in life to be anything. Like, these are words that people don't speak to you on a daily basis, because everybody's BSing. Everybody's trying to make a shortcut. Everybody out here, it's not a lot of people that like what they do. So when you run into people out here that's not fortunate enough to be working in their God designed plan for their life, which is innately in your heart, you know what you want to do. God put that in you for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So when you're not doing what innately God told you to do with your life, you're miserable. You're miserable because you have a hole in your heart begging you to fill it with your time spent doing what you love. But instead, you would sacrifice that for money. You would sacrifice that for all of these things that'll perish. All of these things that when you get them, you don't even care about them the same day. That you get that hit of dopamine and it's over. That's happiness. Happiness is dopamine. Joy is waking up in the morning and being thankful that you get another day to do what you do. That's joy. That's the difference. Too many people chasing dopamine spikes when they need to be chasing God's love, because that's actually where joy comes from. So this has just been what's on my consciousness. This is Miles Brown, and I hope this benefits somebody. I hope somebody hears the deeper meaning and what I'm trying to tell them. A lot of people don't hear it, but I'm praying in God's name, in Jesus' name. We're going to pray. Lord Father, whoever this word is for, may this transform them.